and looking to climb those ranks? Awesome.
Hell yeah!
Think of this as your friendly guide to getting good, fast. Whether you just downloaded the game or you're stuck in the lower ranks scratching your head, we're going to break down exactly what you need to know, step by step. We'll cover, want to flex your skins and style? Now's the perfect time. If you purchase tokens through SoloZag's exclusive link on MyDisbuy, you'll get 20% extra tokens. Too lazy to go through the steps? No worries, just scan my QR code and you're all set. Quick, easy, and totally worth it. Don't miss out. What Honor of Kings is all about. The core idea of the game. Roles and lanes explained, and where you should probably be, understanding the different jobs and where they go on the map. Jungle tips for total beginners. How to navigate the jungle without feeding the enemy team. Winning fights and trading like a pro. How to come out on top in those one-on-one and team battles. Staying alive with good map awareness. Your eyes are more important than you think. Becoming a gold farming machine. How to get rich quick in the game. What items to build, and which popular builds are actually traps.
Oh, shit.
Gearing up your hero the right way. Easy heroes perfect for beginners. Champions that are forgiving and effective. Quickly getting the hang of any new hero. Learning new characters without feeling overwhelmed. Pro settings to boost your controls. Little tweaks that make a big difference. And most importantly, how to actually win games with smart decisions. Honor of Kings game terms which are used in the game. So what's the deal with Honor of Kings anyway? Imagine a super fun, fast-paced 5-on-5 mobile game. Kind of like League of Legends or Mobile Legends, but designed for quick, intense matches that usually wrap up in about 15 minutes. You get to pick from a huge cast of heroes. Seriously, over 100 of them. From mighty sword fighters to powerful magic users. Then you battle it out across 3 lanes packed with little soldier guys, minions, defensive towers, and monster camps in the jungle. Why is it so addictive? The controls feel really smooth and natural. Some people can even play with one hand once they get the hang of it. It's easy to pick up the basics, but there's a ton of depth to explore and master. You'll always be learning something new. The game constantly gets fresh updates with new stuff to keep things exciting. It's not just about who can mash buttons the fastest. The game rewards smart thinking, good teamwork, and having a solid strategy. So even if you're new, don't worry. If you're feeling like a total noob, drop a comment and we'll share some quick tips to get you started. Alright, next up, let's talk about laning and how to stop accidentally feeding your opponents free kills. Nobody wants to be that person. Laning 101. Stop giving away free kills. Okay, let's be real. Most new players end up dying a lot in the laning phase. Usually it's because they're playing way too aggressively or they're just not paying attention to some key stuff. Here's what you need to stop doing, like right now. Stop thinking you're invincible. Seriously, if your health bar is low, go heal. Don't just stand under your tower hoping for a miracle. Stop ignoring that little map in the corner. The mini-map. If you don't see the enemy jungler, guess what? They're probably sneaking up behind you. Stop fighting over every little thing. That little sea turtle that spawns early on, it's not worth dying for, trust me. Stop wandering way too far into the enemy side of the lane, overextending. If you're past the river and you don't have any vision of the enemy, you're basically a walking gift. Stop blaming your teammates for everything. If you decide to go deep into the enemy jungle by yourself at minute 2 and you die, well, that's probably on you. Okay, now for some actually helpful laning tips. Freeze the minion wave near your tower. This keeps you safe and lets you control where the minions meet. If you're playing a support hero, roam to other lanes when it's safe to help your teammates out. Spread the love. Keep an eye on when the enemy uses their important abilities, their cooldowns. If they just use their big attack or their dash, that's your chance to go in and punish them. It's okay to miss out on killing a minion if it means staying safe and not giving the enemy a kill. Sometimes survival is more important than gold. Pro tip. A lane where nobody dies 0-0 is way better than going 0-5 and becoming a liability to your team. Jungling for beginners. Please don't be that guy. So you want to try playing in the jungle? That's a big responsibility, but don't sweat it. Here's how to avoid some of the most common mistakes new junglers make. Don't steal the first buffs unless they are absolutely yours. The very first red and blue buff belong to the jungler, always. Laners can usually take the red buff after the 5-minute mark, but only if the jungler says it's okay. Mid laners, always ask your jungler before even thinking about touching the blue buff. And usually, you need to earn it by helping gank a lane. A basic jungle route to get you started. Start with the buff that's closest to your duo lane, the lane with 2 players. Clear out the smaller monster camps as you make your way towards the middle lane. Once you hit level 4, start looking for opportunities to gank, surprise attack, an enemy lane, or contest any objectives that are spawning. If it's safe and you know where the enemy jungler is, try to sneak into their jungle and steal some of their camps too. Don't forget these important timers. The Tyrant and Dragon monsters appear at 4 minutes into the game. The Infernal Dragon spawns later in the game and can really swing things in the late game. These are important objectives to fight for. If your teammates nearby are getting into a fight and need help, go help them. Don't just keep hitting that jungle monster. To gank a lane, when the enemy laner has pushed too far towards your tower, when the enemy laner is low on health, when your teammate in that lane has an ability that can lock the enemy down, crowd control like stuns or roots. When not to gank a lane, when your teammate is hiding safely under their tower, when the enemy is at full health and ready for a fight, when you yourself are at half health or lower, you'll probably just die too. Jungle habits. You absolutely need to develop. Keep an eye on the game clock. Those big objectives spawn at 4 minutes. If you see the enemy jungler show up in the top lane, that's your chance to sneak into their bottom jungle and steal some camps. Constantly check your minimap. If you see enemy heroes disappear from their lanes, they might be heading your way. Alright, next up, let's dive into how to actually win fights and trade effectively. Winning fights and trading effectively. It's not just about button mashing. If you find yourself constantly losing those one-on-one fights in lane, or getting wiped out in big team battles, don't worry. It's not always about having lightning-fast fingers. A lot of it comes down to timing, where you're standing, positioning, and playing smarter, not just harder. Here's how to get better at both those small trades in lane and those big 5-on-5 team clashes. Trading in lane, those 1 versus 1 fights. Know when you're strong and when you're not. Every hero has moments where they become significantly stronger, usually when they hit level 4 and unlock their ultimate ability, or when they finish building a key item. Don't try to go all in for a big fight if you haven't reached your power spike yet, and your opponent has. You'll probably just end up feeding them a kill. Watch their cooldowns. If you see your enemy just use a big ability or a dash to move around, that's your window of opportunity to attack. They'll be vulnerable while those skills are recharging. Conversely, if you just used your important abilities, it's probably a good time to back off before they can punish you. Don't fight in a big wave of enemy minions. Seriously, those little guys can do a surprising amount of damage, especially early in the game. If you try to fight while standing in a huge wave of enemy minions, you're going to lose that trade fast. Try to bait them onto your side of the lane where your minions can help you. Quick pokes are often better than full-on brawls. You don't have to go for a kill every single time you interact with the enemy. Sometimes just throwing out a skill or two, landing a quick attack, and then backing off is a great way to slowly wear them down. These small wins add up over time. Use the bushes to your advantage. Hiding in the tall grass makes you disappear from the enemy's vision. You can use this to set up surprise attacks, ambushes, or to quickly escape if things get dangerous. Don't underestimate your regular attacks, auto attacks. Especially if you're playing a marksman, ranged damage dealer, or a fighter. Weaving in your normal attacks between your abilities makes your damage output much more consistent. Don't just rely on your skills. Winning team fights, those big 5 versus 5 clashes. Only engage in fights. You have a good chance of winning. Do you have more players nearby than the enemy? Are you stronger in terms of gold or levels? If the answer to these questions is no, it's probably best to back off and wait for a better opportunity. Forcing a bad fight almost always ends in a loss. Focus the right enemies. First, in a team fight, your priority should usually be the squishy targets, the enemy mage or marksman who deal a lot of damage but are easy to kill. Tanks can soak up a lot of damage, but they usually don't carry the game in terms of dealing damage. Positioning is absolutely key. If you're a damage dealer, try to stay behind your tanks and avoid being the first one the enemy focuses on. If you're a tank or an assassin, your job might be to dive onto the enemy damage dealers or to peel, which means protecting your own damage dealers from the enemy. Don't use all your skills at once. It can be tempting to just throw everything you have out as soon as a fight starts, but try to coordinate with your team and space out your crowd control abilities, stuns, slows, etc. This way you can keep the enemy locked down for a longer period. Save your ultimate ability for the right moment. Your ultimate, usually your strongest ability, isn't just for getting a single kill. Think about how it can have the biggest impact on the fight. Maybe it can hit multiple enemies, turn the tide of the battle, or help you secure an important objective afterward. Things that will almost always lose you. Chasing after an enemy with very low health for too long, and ending up dying yourself. Engaging in a fight when your teammates are dead or scattered all over the map. Ignoring the mini-map and walking straight into an enemy trap or gank. Winning a team fight, and then immediately recalling back to base instead of pushing down a tower or taking the dragon. Before you start a fight, ask yourself these questions. Do we have more players present than the enemy? Numbers advantage? Are our key abilities ready to use, especially our ultimate abilities? If we win this fight, can we immediately take down a tower, secure a tyrant, grab a dragon? Are all of our important teammates in a good position to fight? Or is someone still off farming by themselves? The bottom line? Play smart. Don't just run in and hope for the best. Pay attention to the map, work together with your team, and choose your moments wisely. And you'll start winning a lot more fights. Alright, let's talk about staying alive. Look, I totally get it. You're happily farming those little minions, feeling like you're doing great, and then BAM! Out of nowhere, it's like the entire enemy team, the jungler, the mid laner, maybe even their grandma, all jump on you at once and you're just gone. Then you're sitting there wondering, where on earth did they even come from? Well, the answer is usually pretty simple. You weren't paying attention to what was going on around you. So how do you stop being the enemy team's free kill without relying on wards? Because Honor of Kings doesn't have those like some other mobile MOBAs. Here's the lowdown, the minimap. Your new best friend. Seriously, look at it. Think of that little map in the corner like your phone during a boring conversation. Glance at it every 3 to 5 seconds. Make it a habit. See the enemy jungler disappear? Red alert. Assume they're heading straight for your lane. Mid laner suddenly vanished? They're either going back to base or more likely they're sneaking over to gank your lane. Pro tip. If you can't see any enemies on the map, there are only 2 possibilities. They're hiding in a bush waiting to pounce, or they're about to make your life very difficult. Stop wandering too far like a greedy goblin. Seriously, if you've pushed your hero way past the river in your lane, you're practically wearing a sign that says, "Free kill here." If you're feeling unsafe, just freeze the minion wave closer to your tower. This keeps you in a safer zone. If your lane opponent suddenly starts playing super aggressively for no apparent reason, that's a huge red flag. They've probably got backup coming. Time to retreat. Classic noob mistake. Oh, I'll just clear one more wave. Surprise. Enemy team shows up and gets a triple kill. Don't be that person. Track the enemy jungler like a friendly stalker. Try to remember where you last saw the enemy jungler. This gives you valuable information. Did you see them start at their red buff? Then you can probably expect them to gank the opposite side of the map next. Just saw them up in the top lane? That means you've got roughly 30 seconds of relative safety in the bottom lane. Have absolutely no idea where they are? Play super cautiously, like they're hiding in the nearest bush waiting for you. Smart player. Move. If the enemy jungler hasn't shown up on the map in a while, they're either busy farming their jungle camps or they're about to jump out and surprise someone. Be prepared. Listen to those pings. Your team isn't just spamming for fun. Those little signals your teammates send out are actually really important. Pay attention to them. Enemy missing. Hey, heads up. Someone's coming your way. Retreat. Trust me on this. I see something you don't. Get out of there. Gank incoming. Get ready to fight or run. We're coming to help. Worst excuse? Oh, I didn't hear the ping. Turn up your game volume. Those pings can save your life. Try to predict enemy movements. Become a mind reader. Sort of. As you get more experienced, you'll start to get a feel for where enemies are likely to go. Enemy mid laner suddenly disappeared? They're probably roaming to try and gank your lane. See that the objective is about to spawn? Expect a big team fight to break out around that area. Your opponent in lane suddenly starts backing off for no reason? Their jungler is likely nearby. Rule of thumb. If you have a bad feeling and think you might be in danger, you're probably right. Play it safe. When you're not sure, just recall. There's no shame in staying alive. Seriously, it's better to lose a little bit of farm than to die and give the enemy gold and experience. Low on health? Just go back to base and heal up. Don't try to be a hero and stay for one more minion wave. No idea where the enemies are. Assume the worst and play defensively or recall. Your teammates are spamming retreat. Pings at you? For the love of all that is holy, listen to them. Drop a comment saying, "I got it," if you promise to start keeping a closer eye on that map. Alright, next up, let's talk about how to become a gold farming machine. Ever get that feeling when the enemy marksman is 3 whole items ahead of you and can just delete you in 2 hits? Yeah, that's usually because they're way better at farming gold. So let's figure out how to stop being the broke player on your team. Last hitting minions. This isn't just a big brawl. Here's a key thing to understand. In Honor of Kings, you only get the full amount of gold. Anywhere from 60 to 130 gold per minion if you land the killing blow. Just mindlessly auto-attacking every minion? You're probably missing out on half of your potential income. Pro tip. Watch the health bars of the minions and time your attack so you get that last hit. Think of it like a little rhythm game. Each minion wave can give you around 180 to 350 gold if you last hit properly. That adds up fast. Lane taxing, that's for junglers and roaming supports. If your teammate in lane has died or gone back to base, feel free to take their minions so they don't just go to waste. Every little bit helps. However, don't go around stealing farm when your laner is right there. Unless, they're really struggling and you're the only one who can carry. But be warned, this can make your teammate pretty angry. Warning, do this too much, and your teammate might just decide to quit the game out of frustration. Be considerate. Jungle camps equals free money if you're smart about it. In between minion waves, make sure to grab any small jungle camps that are nearby, like the little birds or wolves. It's free gold and experience. See the enemy junglers show up on the opposite side of the map? That's your chance to sneak into their jungle and steal some of their farm. It denies them gold and gives you more. Pro tip. Save your smite ability for securing important jungle buffs and objectives like dragon. Treat those objectives like your life depends on it. Quick gold guide. Don't miss these easy sources. Money River Sprite appears in every lane. Easy 60 gold plus an XP boost. Grab it whenever you're pushing your lane. Space Sprite, Clash Lane, worth 50 to 70 gold. For Clash Laners, it's free money between waves and gives you a quick teleport. HOK, big team prize, gives a whopping 100 gold to every teammate. Super valuable, so roamers should definitely help secure this one. Tip, group up with your jungler to take it safely. Remember, these little bits of gold might not seem like much on their own, but they add up incredibly fast. Teams that consistently grab these extra gold sources will build a significant lead over time. Each enemy kill also gives you around 200 to 25 gold. Objectives are worth more than just kills. Stop chasing enemies. Taking down the Tyrant and Dragon gives your whole team 150 gold each, plus a powerful buff. Prioritize these when they spawn at 4 minutes. The Tempest Dragon, which spawns later, gives 200 gold to everyone, and significantly boosts your ability to push down enemy structures, siege-powered. It can be a game-winning objective. While kills give you 200 to 300 gold, remember that destroying towers gives 150 gold to the team and gives you more control over the map. Rule of thumb. In the early game, clearing one minion wave and grabbing a River Sprite is often more valuable than chasing after a single kill. Don't die! Seriously, this is the best gold tip. Every time you die, you're not only missing out on valuable farming time, but you're also giving the enemy team extra gold and experience. It's a double whammy. Going 0 to 0, no kills, no deaths, with good farm is way better than having a score of 5 to 5 with no gold. Classic noob move. Trading 1 kill for 1 death early in the game? Not worth it. You both lose out on farm. Hero-specific farming tips? Marksmen, ranged attackers. Your main focus for the first 5 minutes of the game should be purely on farming gold. Get those items. Mages, magic damage dealers. Clear minion waves quickly with your abilities, then look for opportunities to roam to other lanes or take nearby jungle camps. Fighters, durable damage dealers. Try to freeze the minion wave near your tower to deny the enemy laner farm and make them vulnerable to ganks. Junglers. Your priority should be clearing your jungle camps efficiently. Look for ganking opportunities after you've cleared your camps and hit important level milestones, not before. Final gold rule to live by. If you're not actively farming something, minions, jungle camps, or objectives, you're falling behind in gold. Drop a comment saying, "Gold," if you're going to stop ignoring those precious minions. Next up, let's talk about what items you should be building on your heroes, and which popular item builds are actually traps. In honor of kings, picking the right items for your hero is absolutely crucial if you want to reach their full potential. However, you might see some meta builds floating around that can actually be misleading or not the best choice. Maybe they're outdated, overhyped, or just don't fit your playstyle. So here's a guide to some strong item builds and those fake meta traps you should try to avoid. General principles for building items. Adapt to the enemy team. Don't just build the same items every game. Look at who you're up against. If they have a lot of magic damage, you'll need magic defense. If they're mostly physical damage dealers, you'll want armor. Consider your hero's power spikes. Some heroes really come online when they get certain core items early in the game. For example, marksmen often need an item like the Eternity Blade for a big damage boost, and mages might prioritize Savant's Wrath for increased magic power. Think about synergy with your hero's skills. The items you choose should work well with your hero's abilities. For example, a fighter who relies on dealing damage over time might want an item like Blood Weeper for sustain, while a burst mage would benefit from something like the Tome of Wisdom to amplify their burst damage. Recommended strong builds by role. Marksmen, ranged physical damage dealers. Core items, usually build these first. Boots of Dexterity, early movement speed. Shadow Ripper, attack speed. Eternity Blade, high burst damage. Situational items. Pick these based on the enemy team. Starbreaker, good against tanks. Mortal Punisher, reduces enemy healing. Sun Chaser, increases your attack range. Fake meta traps to avoid. Building Boots of Deafness. Late in the game, it's usually better to swap them for Boots of Dexterity or Boots of Fortitude for more damage or survivability. Over-prioritizing Sparkforged Dagger on heroes who really need the early attack speed from Shadow Ripper first. Mages, magic damage dealers. Burst mages, examples. Angela, dodgy. Boots of the Arcane, magic penetration. Scepter of Reverberation, early damage. Void Staff, more magic penetration against magic resistance. Mask of Agony, sustained damage. Sustain mages, example Gao. Insatiable Tome, magical lifesteal. Frozen Breath, slows enemies. Fake meta traps to avoid. Rushing Void Staff. On mages who aren't facing a lot of early magic resistance. It's often better to get Savant's Wrath first for a bigger initial damage spike. Building way too much cooldown reduction when you really need more burst damage to secure kills. Fighters, assassins, melee damage dealers. Sustain fighters, examples, Dune, Alan. Boots of Fortitude, defense. Blazing Cape, deals damage over time to nearby enemies. Axe of Torment, more damage and some cooldown reduction. Assassins, examples, Han Xin, Butterfly. Hunting Knife for jungling. Axe of Torment, damage and cooldown reduction. Master Sword, high physical damage. Fake meta traps to avoid. Building full damage on fighters who desperately need some survivability to stay alive in fights. For example, a hero like Lubu often needs an item like Cuirass of Savagery for defense. Ignoring the immortality item against teams with a lot of burst damage that can kill you quickly. Tanks, durable heroes who protect their team. Tanks, examples, Zhang Fei, Wangzi. Blazing Cape, damage to nearby enemies. Spike Mail, reflects physical damage back to attackers. Succubus Cloak, magic defense. Supports, examples, Sakir, Kai Yan. Cuirass of Savagery, movement speed and some defense. Dawnlight, cooldown reduction and a shield for allies. Fake meta traps to avoid. Building full ability power, AP, on tank supports, unless you're playing a specific support like Sunbin or Uria who can utilize AP effectively. Skipping an item like Blazing Cape against enemy teams with a lot of healing, like Lubu or Alain, because the passive damage can help reduce their healing. Top 5 fake meta builds you should probably avoid. Full critical hit builds on heroes who don't utilize crit. Well, for example, building a ton of critical hit chance on a hero like Dun who doesn't have abilities that synergize with critical hits is usually a waste. Pure damage tanks. Tanks like Sakir don't need to focus on building a lot of physical attack. It's usually much better to prioritize defensive items like Overlord's Plate Mail and Breakthrough Robe to make them harder to kill and more effective at protecting their team. Overstacking lifesteal. While some lifesteal is good on heroes like Alain, building 3 lifesteal items is often overkill. It's usually better to mix in some defensive items like Eyes of Phoenix to increase your survivability. Ignoring penetration. Mages who skip building magic penetration items like Void Staff against tanky enemies with a lot of magic resistance will find their damage falls off significantly. Similarly, physical damage dealers need to build physical penetration items like Starbreaker against armored opponents. Blindly copying pro builds. Professional players often adjust their item builds dynamically based on the specific game situation and their team composition. Don't just rigidly follow a tournament build you saw online in your solo queue games. Think about what you actually need in your current match. Final tips for item building. Early defense. Can win games, building a small armor or magic resist item early on can often negate an enemy's early lead and prevent them from snowballing. Consider selling boots late game. Once you have your core items, you can often sell your boots in the very late game and replace them with another powerful offensive or defensive item like Eternity Blade or Splendor. Anti-heal is underrated. Items like Mortal Punisher for physical damage dealers and Venomous Staff for mages can be incredibly effective against enemy heroes with a lot of healing, like Lubu or Zhengfei. Don't forget about them. By avoiding these fake meta traps and learning to adapt your item builds to each game, you'll definitely start climbing the ranks much faster. Would you like me to give you some specific item build recommendations for particular heroes? Just let me know in the comments. Coming up next, easy beginner-friendly heroes. Here are some great starting heroes for each role in Honor of Kings. Perfect if you're new and just want to get a feel for the game without getting too complicated. Clash Lane. Arthur. Think of Arthur as your reliable, no-nonsense buddy in the Clash Lane. You basically run in, use your abilities, and you're doing your job. He's naturally tough, tanky, has a way to heal himself, and his ultimate ability automatically locks onto enemies with low health. No fancy button combinations needed, just solid power on the front lines. Jungle. Dian Wei. If you want to jump into the jungle and just dish out some serious damage, Dian Wei is your guy. You focus on farming up your jungle camps, press a couple of buttons, and watch enemies melt. He doesn't have any tricky skill shots to aim. You just run at them and take them down. He's straightforward, hits like a truck, and can be a lot of fun to play. Mid lane. Angela. Angela is like the definition of easy to pick up and play in the mid lane. You hang back a bit, use your second ability to poke at enemies from a safe distance, and then unleash your ultimate for a big burst of damage. She doesn't have any fancy movement skills to escape danger, but if you position yourself well, she can really carry team fights with her damage output. Marksman. Hu Yi. If you're looking to try out the Marksman, ranged damage dealer, role, Hu Yi is a really solid choice for beginners. He's got a built-in way to defend himself with his jump, and his passive ability, Sun Arrow, gives him extra damage over time. Plus, his ultimate is a global stun that can completely change the course of a fight, even if you're far away from it. Simple to play, but can have a huge impact. Support, Zhengfei. Zhengfei is fantastic if you're new to the support role. You don't have to worry about landing complicated skill shots. You just need to time your ultimate ability correctly to give your entire team and knock enemies away. His natural tankiness and simple abilities allow you to focus on learning how to protect your teammates without feeling too overwhelmed. Coming up next, how to quickly learn any new champion? Alright, so you've picked a beginner-friendly hero, but what about when you want to try someone new? Here's a quick guide to getting the hang of any new champion in Honor of Kings without feeling completely lost. Step 1. Actually read the skills. I know it sounds boring, but do it. Before you even jump into a match, take literally 2 minutes to read what each of their abilities does, especially their passive ability, the one that's always active. Pay attention to these things. Which ability seems to do the most damage? Which one looks like your way to escape from danger or to jump into a fight? Does any ability give you a shield, heal you, or give you some other helpful bonus? You don't need to memorize all the exact numbers and percentages right away. Just get a general idea of what each skill does. Step 2. Hop into training mode. Head over to the hero trial or the training grounds.
Retreat!
This is your safe space to experiment. Try out their basic combos. Usually it's
Not as
something like
fast
using
as
your
me.
second ability, then your first, then your ultimate. See what feels natural. Get a feel for aiming any skill shot abilities they might have. Practice using any dashes or abilities that require precise timing. Learn how long the cooldowns are on their abilities and how far their skills can reach. Doing this for a few minutes will save you a ton of frustration in your first real match. Step 3. Watch a quick 3-minute gameplay video. Head over to YouTube or TikTok and search for Hero Name Honor of Kings gameplay. Watching how other players actually use the hero in a real game is way more helpful than just reading a guide. You'll pick up on things like good positioning, common combos they use, and when they decide to go in for a fight or back off to safety. Step 4. Play against bots or in co-op first. For your first few games with a new hero, stick to playing against computer-controlled bots or in the casual co-op mode. This gives you plenty of space to learn without the pressure of playing against experienced players in ranked matches. Step 5. Focus on one thing at a time. Don't try to play perfectly right away. In your first few matches with a new hero, just focus on one specific goal. Positioning. If you're playing a squishy, easy-to-kill hero, focus on staying safe and behind your teammates. Landing your main combo. Practice getting the hang of using your key abilities in the right order. Timing your ultimate. Well, pay attention to when the best time is to use your ultimate ability for maximum impact. Once you start feeling comfortable with one of these things, then you can start working on other aspects like making better decisions and paying more attention to the map. Bonus tip. Use the recommended builds, at least at first. The default item builds, or the ones that the game recommends, as well as the top player builds you see, are usually pretty solid starting points. Don't overthink the item builds too much while you're still trying to figure out what your hero even does. You can always learn more about itemization later. Next up, pro-level control settings for better gameplay. If you're looking to really fine-tune your controls in Honor of Kings and get that extra edge that the pros have, here are some settings they often use. Manual aiming for skills. Instead of your skills automatically targeting the nearest enemy, this lets you aim them exactly where you want them to go. Turn this on for abilities like your second skill or your ultimate to have complete control over your targeting. Target heroes only. This setting makes sure that when you're trying to attack, you'll only hit enemy heroes and not accidentally target minions or jungle monsters. Enable this in the settings for more precise targeting in fights. Advanced attack wheel. This gives you a wheel that pops up when you attack, allowing you to quickly choose whether you want to target minions, towers, or heroes with a simple drag of your finger. This is especially useful for marksmen and junglers who need to be very precise with their attacks. Smart Cast for mobility skills. With Smart Cast, you can instantly use mobility skills like dashes or blinks with just a single tap of the button, without having to aim first. Turn this on for heroes who rely on quick movement, like Hanxian or Butterfly, for faster reactions. Customize button size and position. You can actually adjust the size of your joystick and move your ability buttons around on the screen to make the controls feel more comfortable and quicker to react to. Try making your joystick a bit larger and moving your skill buttons closer to your thumb for more fluid control. Enable Cancel Skill. Button. This gives you the option to cancel an ability if you accidentally press it, saving you from wasting important skills at the wrong time. This is particularly helpful for heroes who have charge-up abilities or dashes that you might want to interrupt. Turn off Auto Target Lock. Turning this off gives you more precise control over who you're attacking, especially in chaotic team fights where you need to focus on specific targets. If you're just starting out or playing a tank, keeping Auto Target Lock on can make things a bit simpler. Camera settings. Adjusting your camera can give you better awareness of the map and make navigating smoother. Try these settings. Turn off fixed camera so you can freely slide your view across the map. Adjust camera sensitivity to medium or high until you find a setting that feels comfortable for you. Turn on Edge Slide Camera so you can pan the screen by just dragging your finger along the edge of your device without moving your hero. Last one. Smart decision making for victory. Winning games in Honor of Kings isn't just about having fast fingers or knowing all the combos. It's really about making the right decisions at the right time. Here's how to use smart thinking to secure those wins. Know when to fight and when to run away. Not every fight is a good fight. Pay attention to your team's health, where everyone is positioned, and who has more players nearby. If your team is weak or spread out, it's usually better to back off and wait for a better opportunity. If you have an advantage, look for smart ways to use it. Map awareness is your superpower. Seriously, knowing where the enemy is or isn't is huge. Keep looking at that mini-map. If you don't see the enemy jungler, assume they're coming for you. If a key enemy is missing, they might be setting up for a big play. Focus on the real goals, objectives. Getting kills feels good, but taking down towers, securing dragons, and controlling jungle buffs are what actually win you the game. After a successful fight, don't just chase more kills. Try to take an objective instead. Don't overstay your welcome. Just because you took down a tower or got a kill doesn't mean you should hang around in enemy territory forever. One mistake can let the enemy team catch up. Push your advantage a bit, then get back to safety and regroup. Play as a team player. Every game is different, and you might need to adjust how you play based on what your team is good at. If your team has a strong late-game setup, play it safe early on and focus on farming. If you're strong early, try to push your advantage and take objectives quickly. Vision wins games, even without wards. Even though there aren't traditional wards, pay attention to where you do see the enemy and communicate that to your team. Knowing where they are gives you a huge advantage in avoiding ganks and setting up your own plays. Kills aren't everything. Chasing after kills can be tempting, but don't get so focused on it that you forget about other important things like farming gold, taking objectives, or defending your own lanes. Always ask yourself if that kill will actually help you win the game. Build smart, not just by the book. Don't just follow the same item build every game. Look at who you're fighting against. If they have a lot of tanks, you'll need items that can penetrate their defenses. If they're dealing a lot of burst damage, you might need to build some defensive items. Bonus tip: be flexible. Things change constantly in a match. If your initial plan isn't working, don't be afraid to switch things up. Whether it's changing who you're targeting in fights or adjusting your item build, being able to adapt is a huge key to winning more games. Coming to the last one, Honor of Kings. Game terms which are used in the game. Map and lane terms. Feeling out the battleground. Clash lane, also called top lane. Think of this as your personal arena up top. It's often a pretty isolated experience, a real test of your individual skill against whoever the enemy sends your way. You'll usually see the tougher folks here, the fighters who can handle a beating and dish one out, or the tanks who are just naturally resilient. It's where those intense one-on-one fights and smaller brawls tend to break out. You really have to be self-sufficient up there. Farm lane, formerly ADC lane, or bottom lane. Ah, the precious farm lane. This is where the marksman, the hero who needs time and resources to become a real threat later on, sets up shop. It can feel a bit vulnerable early on, like you're just trying to survive and get stronger. You'll often have a support hero babysitting you, trying to keep you safe while you focus on getting that all-important gold. It's a lane that requires patience and a good understanding of how to safely build up your power. Mid lane. Now, this is the heart of the map. It's the shortest lane, which means the action can get there fast. This is usually where the mages and those heroes who can unleash a ton of damage in a blink of an eye go. Being in mid lane means you have a lot of responsibility. You need to be aware of both sides and be ready to rotate to help your teammates. It can feel like you're constantly under pressure, but it's also where you can really make a big impact. Jungle. The wildlands in between the structured lanes. This is the domain of the jungler. It can feel a bit mysterious at first, navigating all those monster camps, but it's a crucial role. The jungler's job is to clear these monsters efficiently to get gold and experience, and then the exciting part, to gank the lanes. To show up unexpectedly and try to secure a kill. A good jungler can really dictate the pace of the early game and make the enemy laners feel constantly threatened. River. That watery path snaking through the map? Don't underestimate it. It's like a neutral zone, a place where both teams often try to control vision to see what the enemy is up to. It's also prime real estate for setting up ambushes. You have to be extra careful when crossing the river because you never know who might be lurking in the shadows. Brush, bush. These patches of tall grass, they're your best friend when you want to be sneaky. Step into a bush and you become invisible to the enemy until they get too close. It can feel so satisfying to set up a surprise attack from the brush, or to narrowly escape danger by slipping into one. Just remember, the enemy can use them too. Base. Ah, sweet home base. This is your sanctuary. When things get rough, this is where you can retreat to heal up, buy your items, and take a breath before heading back into the chaos. It's also where you respawn, that frustrating but necessary moment after you get taken down. Gameplay terms. Getting into the nitty-gritty. Gank. That moment when you, usually as the jungler, or maybe a roaming support, suddenly appear in a lane the enemy isn't expecting. It's all about that surprise factor, trying to overwhelm them before they can react. A successful gank can feel amazing.
Triple kill.
Roam. When you decide to leave the safety of your lane to go help a teammate who's struggling, or to apply pressure on a different part of the map, it can feel risky. Leaving your own lane vulnerable, but a well-timed roam can completely turn the tide in another lane and make a huge difference for your team's morale. CC, crowd control. These are the abilities that make the enemy feel helpless. Imagine being stunned and unable to move, or slowed down so you can't escape. These abilities can feel incredibly powerful in a fight, allowing your team to focus down targets. But be careful, the enemy has double C too, and getting caught in it can be a real nightmare. First, that exhilarating feeling when you unleash all your damage at once and watch an enemy's health bar just disappear. Mages and assassins live for these moments. It requires good timing and often hitting your abilities accurately, but the payoff of instantly taking someone out is huge. HOK. It might not feel as impactful as Burst, but slowly chipping away at the enemy's health from a distance can be so frustrating for them. It forces them to play more cautiously and can set up easier kills for your team later on. It's like a war of attrition, slowly but surely wearing them down. Peel. That selfless act of protecting your damage-dealing teammates. It might not get you the glory of a kill, but knowing you've saved your marksman or mage from getting taken down can feel really rewarding. It's about using your abilities to push enemies away, slow them down, or just generally make it harder for them to reach your vulnerable allies. Diving. That risky but sometimes necessary move of attacking an enemy, even when they're under their tower. Towers deal significant damage, so you usually need to be confident you can secure the kill quickly or have backup from your team. It can feel like a real gamble, but sometimes it's the only way to finish off a low-health enemy. Zoning. It's like drawing an invisible line that the enemy just can't cross safely. By positioning yourself strategically or using your abilities, you can control an area, preventing the enemy from getting to an objective or safely farming. It's a more subtle form of control, but it can really dictate the flow of the game. Economy and resources, the fuel of victory. Gold. That precious resource that fuels your power. Every little bit counts. Getting that gold advantage can make you feel so much stronger than your opponent. It's the reward for playing smart and securing those last hits. XP, experience. That feeling of leveling up and unlocking a new, more powerful ability, that's XP at work. Staying ahead in levels can give you a significant edge in a fight. It's a constant race to gain more experience than the enemy. Farming. It might seem repetitive, just hitting those minions and monsters, but it's the bread and butter of getting stronger. That consistent accumulation of gold and XP can feel like a slow burn, but it pays off in the long run. Last hit. That satisfying thwack when you land the killing blow on a minion and see that full gold amount pop up. It's a skill that takes practice, timing your attacks just right. Missing those last hits can feel like you're just throwing away potential income. Combat and objectives, the heart of the battle. Kill assist, that rush of adrenaline when you take down an enemy hero. Kill feels impactful, a clear sign you've outplayed them. Even getting an assist, knowing you contributed to taking them down, feels good. Snowball, that exhilarating feeling when you get ahead early and just keep getting stronger and stronger. It can feel like you're unstoppable, but you have to be careful not to get complacent and throw that lead away. Team fight, the chaotic clash of abilities and heroes. These can feel incredibly intense, a real test of teamwork and coordination. Winning a team fight can swing the entire momentum of the game. Pick. That sneaky feeling of catching an enemy all alone and taking them down quickly creates a temporary advantage for your team and can open up opportunities to take objectives. Tower Dark Slayer, Overlord Dragon. These aren't just buildings or monsters, they're the key to victory. Taking down a tower feels like making progress, pushing into enemy territory. Securing the Dark Slayer, Overlord, or Dragon can feel like a huge boost for your team, giving you powerful buffs that can turn the tide of a fight. Split push. That strategic decision to send one player to push a lane on their own while the rest of the team creates pressure elsewhere. It can feel like a risky move, leaving that player vulnerable, but if done correctly, it can force the enemy to split their attention and create openings for your team. Alright, so that's the whole shebang for getting started in Honor of Kings and understanding the basics to climb those ranks. But yeah, like we were saying, the making smart choices during the game and being able to adapt to what's happening is key to winning more and climbing faster. So that's the big picture. Everything from the fundamentals to some hero tips to get you going strong in Honor of Kings. Just remember, the most important thing is to get out there, practice, and figure out what playstyle and heroes click with you the best. Go have fun, try out these tips, and good luck on your climb to victory. Whether you're aiming for the very top or just enjoying the ride, playing smart is always going to give you an advantage. May the battlefield be kind to you.